If the economy is doing so well and market averages are hitting new highs, why are so many Americans on food stamps? And if the health care law is so good, why is it enticing even more Americans to apply for food stamps? We want to know. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And it's always been one of those things that just never quite jived for me. A jobs boom and a food stamps boom. It just doesn't fit. And you would figure that as meager as this recovery has been, but it has been a recovery, it would at least have folks relying on government less. Not so. And in the case of the health care law, just the opposite. An analysis by the Associated Press reveals that in some 11 states, the law actually makes it easier for some to sign up for food stamps, and they have. Sabrina Schaefer and Mark Serrano say that is because the government is making it easier to get everything. They are not big supporters of government. Julie Roginski says that is not the case. She loves big government.
Love it.
You do.
Love it.
All right, Sabrina, what do you make of this and what happened here in these states?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think we all know that Obamacare is a bad law through and through, but now we're sort of seeing firsthand how big government is eroding our culture of self-reliance. It is pushing civic society out of the way, all while dragging us deeper down into debt and not actually growing the economy in any kind of meaningful way. I don't think any of us here begrudge those who have fallen on hard times. We want to make sure that we don't have a go-it-alone society, but recruiting people, essentially, which is what's happening here, to receive government welfare when they simply don't need it is not a way to help the people in need.
Well, I think the issue here, Julie, if I'm not mistaken, whether you agree or don't agree with the health, is that in the effort, and it's a good effort to make going through this labyrinth of a process to apply for something easier, you make it easier for a lot of other things.
Well, it's sort of like signing up for voting when you're getting your driver's license renewed. But look, this economy has benefited, and this is statistics, it's not opinion, has benefited primarily the 1%. It hasn't benefited people at the bottom at all. And in fact, they're worse off today than there were before the recession began.
You're not with Hillary on toppling the 1%.
I am not with Hillary on toppling the 1%, but I think Hillary should...
Just severely injuring.
No, I'm all about the 1%. People, I would never hurt you like that, Neil.
No.
I love you too much.
Yes.
Never you, but no. But I am very much against spreading the wealth a little bit, not in redistribution, but making more people have a piece of the pie. And the problem here is
that
people...
the piece of the pie here are benefits, government benefits. Is that really the piece of the pie you want to share?
Well, Neil, first of all, most of the people on food stamps and SNAP benefits are people who don't stay there for long. It's a supplemental, right? They need help buying food.
We're now close to 50 million.
I agree with you. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who haven't benefited from this recovery.
Fair enough. That's a good point. But what I've always said is I can't figure out the number who really deserve that. But if it's 50 million or whatever, then something's wrong with this recovery.
If you can't figure out which people really deserve it, government sure as heck can't figure that out because we have a Santa Claus society. Unfortunately, we do. There are people who are deserving and they should get the help. But what we should do is instead of spending millions of dollars on advertising to get more people to enroll in entitlements, we should use entitlement dollars to get people off of entitlements, to get them off the dole, to build incentives.
So you're saying we need another entitlement program to tell you how to get off
use those same dollars.
All right,
let's incentivize people to reach the American dream, to get off the dole. This program enables you to check all the boxes on entitlements.
Sabrina, though, you be careful what you wish for, though. One of the things, and I know Julie and I have talked about this in the past, that there were a lot of hurdles with the health care law when it started, that it was this labyrinth, this maze to get through. So lo and behold, they do fix it. To their credit, they do make it easier. But in so doing, make it easier to get a lot of other benefits that come with it. That's what happened, particularly, I believe, in California.
Right. In many states, yeah, exactly what Julie's saying. They're making it easier for people to sort of check that box. And when you present someone with something that's sort of free and it's very easy for them, of course, they're going to take it. But here's where we sort of have competing ideologies. I think we all want to help people, right? But we want to help them by growing the economy. We want to make sure that we're encouraging policies, whether it's reining in burdensome regulations, cutting back on taxes that allow for long-term economic growth and job creation across the board for all Americans. This is where we're going to have, real competition of wages. This is where we're going to have competition of benefits, all of this.
Julie, I want to go to this. Yes. You've heard of collateral damage. I think when it comes to the government, it's the collateral benefits that worry me. That this gets to be sort of a gimme, that you get a lot of gimmies.
Well, this is not a gimme to me because this is truly people who need, who wants food stamps if they don't have to have them? These are people who...
But the eligibility has come down.
But people are living in poverty. They want...
Not all these people. Millions of people are not living in poverty.
They have to be at a certain level of the poverty rate.
Have you seen the breakdown of these who got through and got this coverage on the Affordable Care Act?
Right.
probably savvy enough to pay whatever it is they're going to pay with the $5,000 deductibles that are going to come with that without the government subsidies. So my immediate question is, and you qualify for food stamps?
Well, people qualify for food stamps. There's a very specific criteria which you qualify for food
Which
stamps.
apparently is a lot.
Well, Neil, you try. Honestly, I'm not trying to be cute about this, but try living on what people qualify for food stamps.
No, what I'm saying.
Try living
what I'm saying
at
is
that level.
they qualified enough to get the coverage that would carry the high deductible and the high annual premium.
Right.
So that was something the government calculated. They figured, and some of them didn't get the subsidies to go with it, but they were able to get some of the food stamps and other goodies that at first had nothing to do with it.
So you're talking about actually expanding eligibility for Obamacare?
No, I'm wondering,
subsidies?
look, see what we do.
Look,
Well,
call this what it is, okay?
Neil.
The standard has dropped for eligibility for these programs, okay? And it's by design. The far left wants more people to be dependent on government. Call it what it is. That is by design. These are programs to expand dependence on government.
Right.
Why? Because
Right.
at the next election, they're going to remember who gave them those dollars. This is not
A
about
very
people.
cynical, jaded man.
Well, yes.
And what's more,
I
it's
was in
such a
politics. I
conflict here.
learned
We have,
that.
on one hand, we're not allowing people to own and control their health care dollars. On the other hand, we're also encouraging them to become wards of the state. And Julie, to your point a moment ago, the fact is, if you look up, there's an article in the Washington Post in 2013 where they talk about the recruiters who are going out and recruiting people to get on SNAP who didn't even need it. They were using all sorts of tools to get people off the street who don't need it because they have to fill quotas, a number of people who will use it in order to justify the program. This is absolutely about growing government, keeping government relevant, and making people wards of the state.
No, and I guess this is an ideological difference where I don't believe that it's about growing government. I believe it's actually about giving people the help that they need, who desperately need it.
Do you think we need to step back? And I think you're quite right. It's obviously been a disproportionate dichotomous recovery, as it was in the prior administration, the administration before that, the rich disproportionately benefit. But do you think the answer and the solution has been to the government to go to the degree it has, providing so many benefits for so many people? How can you give them a hand up when you just constantly?
I think it's part of a
package.
package. I think we have to increase the earned income tax credit to give people an incentive to go to work. The Republicans don't support that either. I mean, there are a whole bunch of ideas that you can incorporate.
But throwing stuff at them, even you would say, in and of itself is not the answer.
Throwing stuff at them is not what this is. This is not throwing stuff at them. This is actually helping people who need a hand up for a temporary
You did say at the
time.
outset, just to be clear, that 50 million people can't really be in that dire position.
I think they are, Neil. This
Really?
is because this recovery, as I said,
Okay, but wait a second.
Then don't brag
now
about
where does
this
the-
recovery.
I'm
Don't
not.
come back
Listen,
and talk about a
wait.
great
Let me
recovery.
say this. I have
right.
never bragged about this recovery. The people who are benefiting are the very wealthy. The rest of the world is not benefiting
but
much.
Less reasonable Democrats, Julie, will say, look, this economy is growing and
I.e.
we're
the rest
responsible
of the
for it.
Democrats.
Exactly. Okay. But, they can't say that and also say that the rolls are growing and it's because they have better access because of websites and you can enroll in it. Look, this is a Santa Claus society. We need to turn it into an incentive society. We need to reduce taxes. We need to reduce regulations so that everybody can enjoy.
Well, you guys all
prosperous
argue your
times.
point very well. I wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we do not. So I apologize for that. In the meantime,